What's really important here is to make sure that we nail the sound design in the back, because this scene has no dialogue. We're only going to be focusing on whatever noises we are hearing, and not so much on the dialogue that's telling us what's actually happening. So we have to put a little bit of extra special attention to this scene in the back. Now, I think one thing that would be very helpful is to see if the last music track here, Tree of Life, is actually going to play well with the emotion of this moment. Now, this is pretty good. The music is a little bit brighter and slightly upbeat, and I can always try to find another part of the song, but I'm really liking this sort of natural fade-in that we have at the beginning. So I'm going to make an in point and an out point here and just drag this in to my other music track and see if I can line up the outgoing crossfade from this music track here to the incoming audio of the track that we just chose. Let me just expand it to the back of the scene, and we'll give it a crossfade out, and we'll listen to how these two things interact. So even though this has a bit of a fade in at the beginning, it's still a little bit too sharp, and we're hearing this track just kind of begin, and it's not jiving very well with the track underneath it. So maybe we have to add a crossfade at the beginning of this one as well, and see if those two different crossfades between these two sort of droning tracks helps blend them together more nicely.
We have to go.
And that's working really well for us now. So let's take a look at what's actually happening with the audio in our actual scene. So there is no dialogue here. All we have is the outgoing ambient noise from the production recording of this kitchen scene, and then whatever noises we're hearing in this room as he opens the door, and then the microphone that he is most likely wearing outside. So I think the most important thing to do with all of this audio is to make sure that we don't just have any hard cuts between it, but that we add crossfades so that it all kind of flows together in a way that doesn't feel distracting if you were to listen to it cold. I'm going to go ahead and make an outgoing crossfade here at the end of this track, and maybe just let this go a little bit longer so we don't accidentally get rid of any important noises of him running away. And then here, at this point right here, I'm going to crossfade between these two pieces of audio. And we'll do the same thing back here with these, and these as well. Let's listen to how all of that sounds together.
To go.
So obviously we don't want to hear my voice saying, let's cut there. So we're going to remove that there at the end. And we can fade out of his breathing noises. We'll let some of the other ambient sounds take over in that dead space. So the first thing we want to do is build in our ambient sound bed for this entire scene. I'm going to head back to our ambience and see if this rural countryside will still work. I think it's important to keep the same ambient sound between two different exteriors of the same location, even if time has changed slightly, so that you can sort of audibly tie them together in your head. So I'm going to bring this down here, and we'll just expand it all the way to the end here, and we'll give it a crossfade, and we'll give it a bit of a crossfade in as well. And that should really help with all of the sort of in-out fading that we're doing with the production audio to kind of make it all feel like it's in one place, because this will be uninterrupted the entire time. I'm liking it quite a lot. There's just two areas where I think the sound design needs some real improvement. The first area is right here. We're going to watch as he runs out the door and then sits down on this bench, and it makes a very pathetic creak as he sits down on it. We can make that much cooler. We're going to emphasize that hit with some extra sound design. So I have these bench hit noises that I'm going to open up here. And I got a bunch of different noises here that we can use to really add some emphasis to him sitting down on the bench. So let's find the moment where he impacts the bench, which is right here. So we're going to try to get the actual hits of some of these sounds to line up to this moment. Let me just try this first one. Maybe the second one. And let's hear this third one. So this is a really good one here. So we'll bring this one in and see what that sounds like. So not quite a lot. Let's try to make it a little bit louder. Almost. We have to move it back a little bit. That's good, but we can layer some of these together to make a much more compelling sound. Let's try one of these stronger hits. Okay, great. Let's bring this in right here. So you can see the waveform right here. And we can find the impact moment, which is right here. We'll just line up that waveform spike to that impact moment. Maybe it's happening too late now. And I think it's good. It's just too loud and far too present. It sounds like he's punching a pillow. I'm going to lower the volume of this one. That's pretty good. We have a little bit of wood creaking, a little bit of a hit mixed in, and a little bit of a soft pillow being mixed in as well. So mixing and layering some of these sounds is going to make a more interesting sound bed. So let's stop here and take a quick break. If you're following along as we go, this will give you a chance to catch up to where we are. At the end of this multi-part section, we'll be assigning your official homework. Feel free to edit up to where we are now, or continue into the next part and do all your editing at the end. Coming up in the next lesson, we're going to finish bringing the scenes to life with Music and Sound Part 3.